Hello friends, my name's Becky and this will be a full body strengthening flow. Grab yourself 2 yoga bricks if you have them or some chunky books, and we'll get started today in child's pose. So hips lower back to heels, knees can be together or wide, and just connecting to your breath here. Now today's flow may feel challenging at times, so I'd like to invite you to set an intention to come back to the breath during the tough movements. Breathe through it. Taking nice, long, deep breaths. Okay, coming up into tabletop pose on hands and knees. And we'll take 3 rounds of cat-cow. So inhale, chest reaches forward. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, cow. Exhale, rounding to cat. Once more, cow, chest forward. Breathe out, round the spine, finding neutral tabletop. And finding engagement of the core, reach your right leg back. Left arm forward, spinal balance, arm in line with the ear, right hip rotates down to face the mat, holding here, strong core. And trying not to dump through the belly to overarch the low spine. And lowering now, coming back into tabletop. And we'll take that straight onto the other side, so left leg reaches back, right arm reaches forward, and hold. Reaching arm in line with the ear, pushing strongly through the back heel, and lowering back to tabletop, tucking the toes and send the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Just finding some movement here, pedaling out the feet, before finding stillness, tailbone reaching up to the top corner of the room. Now listen carefully. On an inhale, you'll come onto your tippy toes, lower knees to the mat and arch the spine, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, lift back to downward dog. So it's a cat-cow variation. Again, inhale, come onto tippy toes, lower the knees, cow pose, chest forward. Exhale, rounding through the spine, hips up and back, downward facing dog. 3 more times just like this, coming forward into cow pose. And using the whole exhale to get you back into down dog. Inhale, tiptoes, lowering knees, coming forward into cow. And exhale, rounding the spine. 1 more time. Exhale, round, and now this time stay in your downward dog. Now looking to the top of the mat and take some baby steps up to the hands, finding ragdoll at the top of your mat, bending the knees, taking hold of opposite elbows and gently swaying from side to side, crown of head reaches to the mat. Finding stillness and slowly rounding up to stand, head is last thing to lift. Coming into Tadasana, mountain pose, palms face forward. On your next inhale, circle the arms down and round and up, palms touch. Exhale, hinge from the hips and lower to forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, big step back with the left foot, runner's lunge. Inhale, chest lifts. Exhale, step back to downward dog. Inhale, rocks you forward to plank. Exhale, shift forward, elbows hug in and lower all the way onto your belly. Inhale, locust, arms reach back, chest and legs lift. Exhale, lower and push back to down dog. 2 breaths in down dog. On your next inhale, right leg lifts to the sky, 3-leg dog. Exhale, bring knee to chest and step the foot next to the right thumb. Inhale, runner's lunge. Exhale, step left foot to meet the right, forward fold. Alright, slowly rolling up through the spine again, coming up to Tadasana. Inhale, arms lift, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, diving forward to fold. Inhale, flat back, thighs press back in space. Exhale, planting hands, right foot steps back this time. Inhale, chest lifts in your runner's lunge. Exhale, step it back to downward dog. Your inhale brings you forward into plank. And exhale, lower to belly, elbows hug in. Inhale, locust again, chest and legs lift, back of neck is long. Exhale, lower and push back into downward dog. Taking 2 breaths in down dog when you get there. On your next inhale, left leg lifts to the sky. Exhale, runner's lunge, left foot steps next to left thumb. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, take a big step up to forward fold and take a big breath here. And then step the feet in together, toes come to touch. Bending the knees, sit the hips back, lifting up into chair pose, arms lift. Squeezing knees and thighs together, lengthening tailbone down. And bring hands to prayer in front of the heart and twist over to the right, so left elbow connects to the outer right knee. Just take a quick peek at the knees and make any adjustments so one isn't creeping forward. Unwind your twist, come back to chair pose. And then lower the torso over the thighs, forward fold. Stepping left foot back, runner's lunge. Inhale, high lunge, inner thighs hug in. Exhale, sweep the arms back, tilt forward, airplane lunge. Inhale, lift back up to high lunge, arms lift. Exhale, sweep the arms back, tilt forwards. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, sweeping forward to airplane and stay here. Left arm reaches forward. Right arm reaches forward. Imagine you're holding onto a rope. Pull on that imaginary rope to lift up to stand. Squeezing left knee into the chest. Flex the foot, take hands to prayer and cross left ankle over right knee. Bend into the standing leg and sink the hips back, standing pigeon. Core is nice and strong here to help with your balance. And just notice your breath. Okay, unwinding your standing pigeon, draw left knee into chest, and then slowly send the left leg back, transitioning through warrior 3 just for a moment. And then step back into a high lunge, arms lift, take an inhale here. And exhale, lower the hands to the mat, runner's lunge. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, shift forward and lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, chest forward. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips up and back, 2 breaths here. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat, forward fold. Bringing feet in towards each other. Finding chair again, bending the knees, sinking the hips, chair pose. Bringing hands to prayer in front of the chest, twisting over to the left this time, right elbow connects with the outer left knee, really pressing the hands together. Unwinding your twist, coming back into chair, taking a big breath here, and then lowering to forward fold. From here, take a big step back with the right foot, runner's lunge. Inhale, lift up to high lunge, arms lift. Exhale, arms sweep back, tilt forward, airplane lunge. Inhale, lift up, high lunge. Exhale, tilting forward, arms sweep back. Once more, inhale, high lunge. Exhale, tilting forward to airplane, staying here. Right arm reaches forward. Left arm reaches forward, grabbing that imaginary rope and pulling on it to stand up. Lifting the right knee into chest, flexing the foot. Hands to prayer, crossing right ankle over left knee, standing pigeon, sinking the hips back, bending into the standing knee. Hugging belly up and in. Bringing attention back to your breath, that always helps me with my balance. Alright, coming out of your standing pigeon, drawing that knee into chest and transitioning through warrior 3, just briefly sending the right foot back, and then stepping back into high lunge, lifting up the arms, and then lowering into runner's lunge. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, micro bend of the elbows. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. On your next inhale, right leg lifts to the sky, keeping the leg straight, open up the hip, and keep the shoulders level as much as you can. Again, level out the hips, bring your knee in towards the nose, and then step the foot next to the right thumb. Back heel turns in and lowers to the mat, bending through right knee, coming up into warrior 1. Pressing through the outer edge of the back foot, arms come out to a T, and right arm wraps underneath the left arm, so coming into an eagle wrap here. Binding once or twice. Inhale, elbows lift, chest lifts, and exhale, elbows lower, tilt the torso forward. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower, once more. And as you lower, stay here, unwrap the arms, take hands to hips, setting up for pyramid, so maybe you shorten your stance ever so slightly, straightening through the front knee. Keep your hands to hips, or I invite you to place blocks a little way out in front of the foot. And as if you're finding downward dog in the upper body, fold over the front leg. So the aim here is to find a bit of an opening in the upper spine. Kneecaps are lifting, legs nice and strong, sending that right hip back, left hip forward. Okay, bringing hands back to hips, setting up for revolved triangle. Right hand to sacrum, left hand to a block next to the outer right foot. From here, rotate the upper torso to the right. Maybe you reach right arm to the sky. So reaching the chest forward in space, lengthening out through the waist. Legs are super engaged here, really strong pose, really strong breath. Just a few more breaths here. Alright, lower both hands to the mat, framing the right foot, and find your runner's lunge. Once you have your balance, lift back up into high lunge. Bring hands to prayer and twist to the right, left elbow connecting with the outer right knee. Now listen carefully, we're going to make a bit of a funky transition into wide leg forward fold. Keeping your upper body in the twist, turn to the left to face the long edge of your mat. Feet parallel to the short edges, legs are wide, but keeping connection of the left elbow to the right knee. Releasing the arms now, and just readjusting the feet as you need, coming into wide leg forward fold. Fingertips in line with toes. Elbows bending backwards if you have the space, and back of the neck is long. Lift up halfway. Another funky transition coming up. Right toes turn to face the front of the mat. Bend into the right knee. Place the left hand to the left of your mat. Right arm reaches and kick the left foot forward like you're kicking something in front of you. Coming into a bit of a pistol squat, lowering the hips and finding boat pose. Lifting up the chest, crossing the ankles and rocking forward onto hands and knees. Stepping back to plank and take your vinyasa. We meet in downward dog. Finding a little bit of movement here before we set up for the other side. Okay, inhale, left leg lifts, free leg dog, opening up the hip but keeping the leg straight. Leveling out the hips, bring the knee to nose and step the foot next to the left thumb. Back heel turns in and lowers to the mat, coming up into warrior one, bending into the left knee, lengthening tailbone down, bringing arms out into a T, finding our eagle wrap again. This time, left arm comes underneath the right, wrapping once or twice. Inhale, lifting up elbows in the chest. Exhale, lowering the torso forward. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Lowering the torso, stay there. Unwrapping the arms. And take hands to hips, setting up for pyramid, maybe shortening your stance a little bit, straightening through the front knee, keeping hands to hips, or if you did this on the other side, taking blocks ahead of the foot and folding, trying to find an opening in the upper spine, so think downward dog in the upper body. Make sure you're keeping those legs nice and strong here. Bringing hands to hips, setting up for revolved triangle, left hand to sacrum, right hand to a block to the outside of the left foot, lengthening through the sides of the waist as you rotate to the left, maybe reaching the left arm up to the sky, bringing awareness back to your breath here, inhaling deeply, exhaling, only looking up if that feels okay on the neck. Working really hard in this pose, legs are super strong. Alright, lowering the arms and stepping back into runner's lunge, finding balance and lifting up into high lunge, bringing hands to prayer and twisting to the left, finding connection between the elbow and the knee, pressing strongly out through the back heel. And now we're finding that fun transition again into wide leg forward fold, but keeping the upper body in the twist. So upper body's in prayer twist still, lower body's in wide leg forward fold, and release the arms, finding your forward fold here. Maybe you're adjusting the legs a little bit, setting them out a little bit wider. And now finding that pistol squat kick again. So from here, your left toes turn out to the front of the mat, bending into the left knee, planting right hand slightly wider than the mat, left arm reaches up and kick the right leg out in front of you before lowering the hips, finding boat pose. Core nice and strong here. And then crossing at the ankles, rocking forward into tabletop, stepping back to plank, finding vinyasa, so shifting forward, bending elbows, halfway chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Couple breaths here. On your next inhale, right leg lifts to the sky, opening the hips again, keeping the right leg straight and shoulders level. Leveling out the hips, hug right knee into chest and step in between the hands, bend into the right knee and come up into warrior two. Check your feet, front heel should be in line with the arch of the back foot parallel with the short edge of your mat. And think about internally rotating the left thigh and externally rotating the right thigh. Right forearm comes to right thigh, sweep the left arm overhead, side angle. Option here to take a different variation if that's in your practice, so perhaps bringing the right hand to the mat or finding a bind. And from here transitioning into half moon, so take a half step in with the back foot, grab a block, put it ahead and to the outside of the right foot, shift forward and lift the back legs, pushing strongly through the back heel. Don't worry if you lose your balance like I did a little bit earlier, just come back into the pose. And from here, lowering the left arm, rotating the left hip to face the mat and folding over the right leg. Sending the left leg as high as you can, standing splits. Really squeezing through the left glute to lift the leg. And then stepping the left foot back to find runner's lunge. And from here, stepping back into down dog. On your next inhale, left leg lifts, free leg dog. Opening up the hips again, keeping that leg straight. Level out the hips. Hugging left knee into chest, stepping the foot in between the hands. Bend into left knee, cartwheeling the arms up into warrior two. Just check in with your feet, making any necessary adjustments. Really sinking into the pose, lots of energy through the arms, but softening through the traps. And now shifting forward into side angle, resting forearm to thigh, or taking left hand to the mat, or exploring a bind if you did on the other side. And from here, finding your half moon, repositioning your block, shifting weight forward into the front leg, and keeping the front leg bent until you really have your balance, and then only straightening it. Again, finding your breath always helps with balance. Now transitioning into standing splits, so rotating the right hip to face the mat, lifting that right leg as high as you can, squeezing the glutes, and folding over the left leg. Great work, stepping back into runner's lunge. And downward facing dog. Lower the knees, send hips back to heels, forehead comes to the mat, child's pose. Resting here for a moment. You've been working very hard, you deserve a rest. But it was only a short rest. Using your hands now to walk yourself back up, shifting hips to one side, swinging legs in front of you. Coming into deer pose, right shin parallel with front edge of the mat, left shin parallel with the long edge of your mat, feet are flexed, sit up nice and tall and fold over your right leg. Maybe you're sinking a little bit deeper. Okay, and gently use the hands to bring yourself back up. Lifting the knees, swivel to face the back of your mat, keeping your 90-degree angles in the legs. Just finding deer pose, facing the other way, feet flexed, sit up tall, and then fold over the left leg. Alright, coming back up, bending the knees and swiveling back to face the front of the mat. And this time straightening both legs in front of you, coming into seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine, lift the arms. Exhale, keeping that length, folding over the legs, taking hands to the mat, shins, ankles or feet. Wherever is available to you. And on your inhale, think about if you can reach the chest a little bit more forward. And exhale, fold a little bit deeper. Feet are flexed. And slowly come out of your fold. Make your way onto your back, soles of feet to the mat, knees bent. Cross left ankle over right knee, stay here, or lift the right leg, taking hold of the hamstring, reclined pigeon or figure four pose. Sending left knee out towards the front of your mat, trying not to let the upper back roll up away from the mat. Okay, lowering the right leg if it's lifted, and keeping your figure four shape, drop the legs over to the right, so left foot will come to the floor. Take your arms out to a T and your gaze over to the left. Bringing your awareness back to your breath. Really think about sending your breath to the low back here in your chest. Alright, unwinding your twist slowly and just setting up for the other side, so right ankle crosses over left knee, maybe lifting the left leg and holding behind the thigh, opening the right knee away from the body, making sure that right foot is flexed. And from here, lowering the left leg if you have it lifted, but keeping the ankle crossed over the knee. Drop the legs over to the left, arms come wide, gaze turns to the right. Coming back to center, unwrapping the legs, coming into final resting pose, Shavasana. Straighten the legs out in front of you, feet flop open, palms face up, closing the eyes, and rest. Returning attention to your breath. Take a long deep inhale and exhale. Find some movement in the fingers and the toes. Maybe taking a big stretch, lifting one knee then the other, rolling onto your right side, pausing for a moment. And then lift yourself up into a seated position at the center of your mat, maybe sitting up on a block. Palms face down on the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms sweep up, palms touch. Breathe out, lower the palms to heart center, lifting palms to third eye and bowing forward in gratitude for your practice. Thank you so much for joining me on your mat today. You worked really hard. I was super sweaty after this one. Namaste.